For the past several years, through my books and movies, I've been putting forward the message that most of the horrors of American history, the very crimes that the Democrats squeal about, the Trail of Tears, the internment of the Japanese, slavery, segregation, Jim Crow, lynching, the Ku Klux Klan, all these crimes were perpetrated by the Democratic Party itself. In fact, the Democratic Party was created as the party to protect, if you will, the slave plantation. And to this day, the Democrats exploit minorities by creating, deliberately, intergenerational dependency. Now, many conservatives are very nervous about this message, and so they hide from it, in part because they're looking for their bona fides from the very progressive intellectuals who are trying to cover all this up. And second, they just don't know enough. They haven't done the intellectual spade work to find out the truth, and they're really worried that they will blow it and get it wrong and then be exposed. So they stay away from all this. In some way, I feel like I've been carrying this water virtually all by myself. But now, to my great delight, I see the messages penetrating through, and we see it every single day at the Republican National Convention. One after the other, we have eloquent speakers, most of them black.
I know what racism looks like. I've seen it firsthand. In America, it has no resemblance to President Trump.
The Attorney General of Kentucky, the guy who was part of the Greensboro sit-in, with excellent civil rights bona fides.
Joe Biden had the audacity to say, if you don't vote for him, you ain't black. Well, to that, I say, if you do vote for Biden, you don't know history.
One by one, Tim Scott, the senator from South Carolina, by the way, the state to secede first, the sort of de facto leader of the Confederacy. Each of these guys standing up and confidently putting forward the idea that they don't have to be bashful about being Republicans because this is the party of Lincoln and of emancipation, and the Democrats are the party of bigotry. Here is Kamala Harris, by the way, lashing out at Joe Biden.
To coddle the reputations of segregationists, of people who, if they had their way, I would literally not be standing here as a member of the United States Senate, is, I think, it's misinformed and it's wrong.
Should he apologize for that?
He's going to have to make that decision. But, let's be very clear that the senators that he is speaking of with such adoration are individuals who made and built their reputation on segregation. The Ku Klux Klan celebrated the election of one of them. So this is a very serious matter.
Now, what's funny about this video is that Kamala Harris is herself descended from one of the largest slave owners in Jamaica. Joe Biden, of course, is an old buddy of the Democratic segregationists, highlighting the fact that this was in fact the Democratic tradition. So what we have is the descendant of a white slave owner lambasting a sort of Democrat who's friendly to segregation for doing what? For upholding the century-old segregation tradition of the Democratic Party. So this party, the Democratic Party, is a mess. Long term, I think we don't even need it at all. We do need an opposition, but not this one. The Republican Party is the party that is now the torchbearer for blacks and other minorities. It's fantastic to see Republicans beginning to realize this and shout it from the rooftops.